John the 23rd was elected, I think, in 1958. That's a long time ago to remember very clearly how it was received. But as I recall, it was received as a surprise because we didn't know very much about Pope John the 23rd, Giovanni Roncalli. We had very little information about him. I think we knew that he was the Cardinal Patriarch of Venice, and before that he had been the Vatican ambassador to France. But he was relatively unknown. I don't think that there were very many people who were expecting him to be elected. As I recall, I was still a very young priest at that time. As I recall, it was there was more expectation that Cardinal Siri, the Archbishop of Genoa, would have probably been the one who was most thought about as being the possible successor to the great Pope Pius XII. I never met him, of course. He died when I was still a young priest. Never met him at all. But quickly, he captured the world rather quickly, as Pope Francis has. He had a beautiful pastoral way about him, and the fact that he called for the Second Vatican Council, which was an earth-shaking announcement, quickly gathered the attention of the world. And then he was a very grandfatherly figure. He gave the night of the opening of the council. He gave that famous talk to the moon, which was still being recalled. And he encouraged people that night to grab their children, hug and kiss them, and tell them good night. It was such a beautiful moonlit night on the piazza in Rome, and it's something that's still remembered today. He set the church on a different course. They hadn't been an ecumenical council, well, since the mid-1800s, and they had very few in the history of the church. So to bring together all the bishops of the world to think about how the church could better adapt its gospel message to the modern world was the inspiration of Pope John the 23rd. And also, as is well known, he thought the church had sort of grown too stuffy, you might say. He said we needed to open the windows and let a fresh air within the church. And that gave great hope to the Catholics throughout the world. And the fact that when he opened the council, he said, and his opening talk to the council was a masterful speech in which he said that the truths of the faith are eternal, but how we present them to the world is a different matter. And he was looking for new theological formulations of the ancient truths of the church. Bishop Markowski used to speak very frequently about the spirit of Pope John. He came here and then went to the council. Of course, Pope John died during the middle of the council, but he always spoke about the spirit of Pope John, the spirit of being more open, the spirit of being embracing the world, not standing against the world. That type of new stance towards the world was what Pope John Paul gave us, and Bishop Murkowski picked up on that quite easily. Word began to get around. I remember hearing that he had stomach cancer, and then some of the correspondents connected to Rome somehow picked up on that and sort of didn't broadcast it, but it was sort of let known. I remember hearing that the Pope had cancer, stomach cancer, but we did not realize how serious it was until that summer that he died. He did complete the first session of the council, and then he died that summer. Very soon, because they felt that he was very, very, very holy man. I mean, just, they didn't stand in the square and say, Santo subito, means he right away, like they did for Pope John Paul II, but it was that feeling under John XXIII that he was saintly and that he should someday be considered canonized.